How can evil exist in a world where an all-perfect, powerful being also resides?
If God literally is perfectly morally good, can do anything as God wants to, and knows everything, then this God would be in position to eliminate all the horrors and sufferings that humans have gone through in human history. But this God hasn't. So either this God doesn't exist or he's not very good. Why is he letting us suffer like this? Why is he letting, just use a dramatic example, why is he sitting there in his heaven watching these people in these boxcars roll off the concentration camps in the 1940s?
It seems to me that most of the traditional answers to the problem of evil don't really add up. People will say, well, evils are educational, that we can grow and profit from them. And of course, some people do grow and profit even from evils such as those. But many people don't. Many people just are destroyed by these experiences. Most of the reasons we can think of are such that they don't weigh in the balance. The goods that God might be expecting to get out of permitting these evils don't weigh in the balance against the horror of their negative value. And so it's almost blasphemous to suppose that we can think of a morally sufficient reason why God would permit them.
I think that part of the difficulty with the suffering and evil that we experience in the world is that many people just implicitly assume that if God exists, then his purpose for us in life is human happiness in this life, that God is basically there to make us happy. But according to Christian theism, at least, this assumption is false. The purpose of life is not human happiness in this life, but rather it is the knowledge of God. And there are many evils and much suffering in the world that I think is utterly pointless with respect to the goal of producing human happiness in this life, but they may not be irrelevant with respect to producing a deeper knowledge of God.
I think if God wanted to leave a sign that he created the universe and existed in it, he would have created some incredibly beautiful universe with exceptionally good moral human beings and like that, rather than this chaos where we have to struggle to survive, and we've gone through years of evolution, animals eating each other and the horrors of that, and people dying of all these horrible diseases and famines, and those aren't signs of God to me.
I think it would be a great mistake to hold God responsible directly for everything that happens. Supposing that you have a God who wants there to be human responsibility and freedom, the universe has to give you the space for that freedom. So supposing somebody does get killed by an earthquake, you say, did God do that? Well, the answer is, God didn't do that as though God thought, right, this person deserves an earthquake, so I'll do one. But, of course, God set up the planet so that it would obey the general laws of thermodynamics and so on. There are going to be earthquakes. But that is going to happen. Now, how far human responsibility goes, it probably goes further than we think. You don't have to actually build your cities on earthquakes. But anyway, there we are. Right, there are going to be tragedies. Yeah. So it is a tragic universe. I think some people's ideas of God are just a little bit too sentimental. They think, oh, I'll just pray and God will look after me. That ain't true. If there's a God, it's not a sentimental God.
I once got a letter from a guy who is both has a PhD in philosophy and is the pastor of the First Evangelical Covenant Church in Lincoln, Nebraska. And he said that he was much taken with the idea that much that goes on in the world is chance from the point of view of pastoral counseling. He said when parishioners come to him after some terrible thing has happened in their lives, quite often, he said, they literally wear themselves out trying to find the meaning of it, trying to find out what God meant by this. But there is nothing in reason or revelation that says that everything that happens in the world has a meaning or is intended by God or is brought about by God.
We lost a son of ours 13 years ago in a mountain climbing accident in Austria when he was 25 years old. He was good at mountain climbing, but on this occasion fell. I don't have any answer to why this happened. I reject most of the answers, as a matter of fact. the answer which says God did it, or these things happen, or something like that, that strikes me as profoundly not true. I think what God wants for each and every human being is that human being flourish until what the Old Testament writers called until they're full of years. And we live with the mystery of why that's not so. I don't have any nice answer to that. I live with the question without the answer.